Got better. Catherine has appeared.
Hello. Hi. Minor technical difficulties here this morning. I don't know what's going on.
That's all right.
But I'm glad you started. You guys are doing great.
Well, as we told everybody in the intro, this is a beta product and we're using it for the very first time. So if everything completely screws up, it doesn't matter. We're just here having fun.
There you go. But the cool thing is, this is the first time that I think this has ever been done in the travel industry. So that is even more remarkable. And I see that there are 108 people online with us right now. So this is very cool.
It's very cool. And I just want to recommend to everybody, if you're on a computer, no matter which kind, and of course, if you're on Chrome or Firefox, the best thing to do to get the best picture of all of us is to, what do you call it? Full size it, super size it, make sure it's full screen, because we want you to see us, not just from the mouth down, but our beautiful, magnificent faces. So make sure you full size the screen.
Hey, I even shaved today. Oh, I missed this part.
I comb my hair today. Sure, what'd you do?
Oh, today I'm just recovering from a 15-mile run. That's all I'm doing today.
Very good. Do we want to do any housekeeping notes before we start so people kind of know what's going on?
Well, you are way behind because Stuart and I already started.
Oh, I know you did. I could hear you and I could see you.
In fact, you interrupted me mid-sentence, but I still love you enough to say.
Thank you.
Why don't we go back and do
some?
Let's go back and do some housekeeping. Let's get started. We'll do that was our soft start. We'll do the real start now that the star of the show is here, right, Catherine?
Oh, I don't know. We've got all stars here. I see 199 of them now, so that's very cool.
Well, why don't you go ahead with, because I know you had some housekeeping information that might help people and, opening remarks. Let's do it the real way now that you're finally here.
Okay. All right. Well, welcome, everyone. It's great to be here. And thanks, Nolan and Stuart, for joining in. This is going to be so cool. We're so excited about this. We had a little practice run the other day, and all the technology bits worked great. So we're off and running for today. Couple of housekeeping notes. I see lots of people have figured out what the two hands are there. And the two hands are sort of like if you want to give somebody a round of applause, or if you really like what they're doing. It's like a prop is what they call it. But to me, it looks like a round of applause for people. And then on the right-hand side of your screen, you can see the lineup of everybody else who's on the call with us today. And if you want to comment or share or follow any of those people, you can easily do that by clicking on that little icon at the very top of your screen. And then you'll also see pictures of all the people at the top of your screen of people who are logged in and watching the show today. And then, if you would like to join us in this live conversation, please make sure you have your webcam on as well as your microphone. And then you can attempt to call in. So yeah, on your screen, you'll see kind of a round circle and a thing that says call in. And Stuart and Nolan and I will see that there are some folks that are wanting to call in, and we'll select you, and then you'll be on air and you can ask your question live of the rest of us. If you don't have a webcam, you're still involved and you can send us a message. So over on the right-hand side of your screen, you see that list of all the messages that are coming in, and at the very bottom, you'll see a thing that says send a message. And then if you'd like to ask a question, please just start with the / and Q, and then we'll know that it's a question and can differentiate those from the comments that are coming in.
Okay.
Phew. Is there anything else?
/ and Q. Yeah. Listen, I want to apologize to people who are saying that I'm appearing slightly pixelated. I have that problem, and I'm under a doctor's care right now, and there's nothing I can do. What can I tell you?
Actually, Stuart, what they don't know is we ask the Blab people to please pixelate Stuart's video. For goodness sakes, that's the last thing we want to see clear as a bell.
Oh, not fair. I'm going to try to unpixelate myself, but I don't think it's going to work.
All right. I don't think anybody has called to listen to us abuse or tuned in to listen to us abuse each other, although that could be half the fun. I have a feeling we're supposed to talk about some travel stuff.
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
Or was there something else you'd rather discuss? I don't know. Whatever sounds good to you guys.
Well, why don't we roll this off with Nolan? You want to start? What's the top tip that you want to offer people for 2016?
Oh, well, let's see. The first tip might be, are you sure you made the right choice in listening in today? No, seriously, I do have a few things. This has been my busiest year as a speaker. I think I've spoken at more travel events in more countries and more places in 2015 than any year since I started doing this 15 years ago. And what's interesting is as I travel around the world and I talk to travel people in literally every imaginable kind of market, I don't hear as many differences as I hear similarities. The challenges are the same. It's, everybody's dealing with trying to compete with the internet. Everybody's dealing with trying to compete with the agency down the street. Everybody's trying to compete with apps and all that kind of stuff. But amongst all the challenges, I also hear some pretty darn amazing things that people are doing to be successful and to be competitive in today's market. And so I do have a couple of tips that I think will be very helpful. And number one for me is, if there's anything that a travel consultant should master to be able to succeed in 2016, it is the fine art of consulting. Now, this is one of my two pet subjects, and I'll mention the other in a minute. But consulting, by definition, is asking questions, asking the right questions in order to do the right research, in order to make the right recommendations. This is what advice is really all about, because, ladies and gentlemen, advice is the one thing you ain't ever gonna get on any website or any app. It only comes from humans. But to deliver that well, you need to live by rule number one of consulting. Never believe that a customer knows what they want. They've been on the internet where every beach is beautiful, every cruise is a dream come true, and the only people on the beach are supermodels, and we know that that's not necessarily true. So when people call you to say, I'm thinking about a fill-in-the-blank trip, any app will believe they've made the right choice. But a travel consultant should stop and say, that could be perfect for you, or it could be the biggest mistake of your life. My job is to make sure that every trip you take is perfect. So there's my first tip. And I've got two more, but I'll let you guys talk for a minute.
So Stuart, so Nolan, I love that tip. I think that is so cool because it's a way of helping an agent stand out from the rest of the crowd and the rest of the noise that's out there. And they can take that to a social level as well by looking at their social posts and providing information that's unique to them and that's going to touch the lives of their clients that are out there and following them socially. So it might be as easy as putting out a travel tip Tuesday or travel tip Thursday or something like that, or creating a little video and posting that socially of their top travel tips or new ideas that they're seeing to inspire people to travel somewhere else.
And you're so right, Catherine, and it's really helping people to understand that there is more to choosing the right vacation where you're going to have a fabulous time than just what some website says. And all those little tips and tricks that you put out there, it shows people, it proves to people, you know your stuff. You deal with this all day, every day. The average ordinary traveler only deals with it about once every 2 years.
Yep. If you don't mind, I'd like to respond to a question that's come through based on something I said before. The immediate question is, Mitch wants to know if this is moonshine in this here mason jar, and it is. So the real question I want to answer is Sanssouci Travel at Sanssouci Travel said, well, how do we find the people that we need to help? Remember before, my tip was don't worry about the people you can't help. There's people who desperately need you. Focus on sourcing them. Well, I want to give you something here that's going to blow everybody's mind, Travel Professionals. Listen to me carefully. Why don't you stop for a whole day, for a week, for a month, worrying about where you're going to find them? And why don't you, for a day, for a week, for a month, worry about how they're going to find you? Now, what I'm saying is how they're going to find you, which is what happens if I Google your name or your agency name? What will I see? What happens when if I can discern that business card that's got 7,000 letters and characters and logos on it? Am I going to be able to find you? And will I like what I see?
Stuart,
are you tweeting good stuff?
I'm sorry, Stuart. This is just your problem. I keep telling you, you're old now. You need reading glasses. Those characters are not as small as you think they are.
I know. Hold on. I can achieve that right now. We're done.
There we go. Awesome. See, suddenly, you can see the business card and all the answers are there.
Yeah. Well, and that's the other thing. I suggest you take that business card and you put two things on it: your name and your phone number. That's it.
Such a good
What about
point.
your picture, Stuart? Wouldn't you put your picture on there?
I think every travel professional should put my picture on their business card. Absolutely. But that's my response. I just want to let Sanssouci know that I believe we need to come back for a second and stop worrying about how to find them. Let's worry about what happens when they find us, and do they like what they see? And I know now, Catherine, you're seated on this, that they want us to do the Brady Bunch thing. So am I looking at you right now, Catherine? I'm not sure.
Yes, you are. And I'm looking down at Nolan. And am I looking at you now, Stuart?
No, you're not.
No.
Oh, it's the opposite.
All right, who's next with the tip? I just had to give you. I had to respond to Sanssouci there.
Do you mind if I add a little bit to that tip, though, Stuart? I think that is such a good tip in getting people to find you, and that this brings up an important point. It used to be back in the old days, when I was a frontline travel consultant. How do they find you? It was usually in the yellow pages, or they had a friend that referred you, or maybe they saw an ad in the newspaper. Well, no one looks at the yellow pages anymore. Very few people advertise in the newspaper, and that's because not too many people look at it anymore. It's what you were saying. Google is one of the first places they go. And Catherine, you're going to love this, but Google is what's called a popularity-based search engine. The stuff that shows up when people search for something are the most popular websites first. There is no website on planet Earth more popular than Facebook. And so if your agency is not in there somewhere, guess what? It's going to find the ones that are. And so it's why, Catherine, I know it's why you make such a big deal about getting people to get active on social media. It's not just about wasting a lot of time posting pictures of lattes and kittens and, oh, wait a minute, that's me. But you know what I mean.
Nolan, that's exactly right. I'll look down at you now, but you're exactly right, because when you're active on your social sites, and it could be Facebook, it could be Twitter, it could be YouTube, whatever it is, and as many as you can manage will only help your SEO. And then if you always drive people back to your website, then your website is going to rank even more highly. But the key is when they get to those sites, when they get to your website, when they get to your social pages, what do they see there? Do they like what they see? Is your personality shining through there? Is there video? Is there interactive things? Are you asking questions? Are you getting shares, comments, and likes? Those are the things that people really need to see. So speaking of interesting things, we have one person who's calling in from Pinnacle Trips. So Pinnacle Trips, are you there? Are you ready to be on video? Should we put them on? Okay, here we go. Pinnacle Trips, you are on. Did you have a question for any of us, either of us, all of us? Oh. And if you're trying to get on, make sure that you've set up your webcam. And if that's not working for you, what I ended up having to do left-hand corner browser. Oh, here's someone. Oh, yay.
Yeah, I'm Frank Bastiano from Pinnacle Trips. This is great. I'm glad we're on the debut of Blab. My question is, what's the best way to, as far as networking is concerned, what do you recommend? Chambers of Commerce, BNI. There's another new one called Master Networks. What is your recommendation?
Oh, I'd be happy to tackle that one. And actually, I might ask you if you can turn the volume down on your speakers. Because what happens is the sound comes out of the speakers and right back into your microphone, and then we get kind of an echo of feedback sort of thing. So what I would suggest to you is it's not so much the network group or system that you join as it is what do you do with it, but also targeting specifically who is your target market. Let me back up just a little bit.
Right.
First, I'll take what Catherine was saying with be on as many social media things as you can. That does make sense, but you also need to be clear about who are you trying to go after. Like, for example, we know Facebook is primarily women over 55. That's the dominant group. Twitter's a lot younger, and I have a feeling that Blab is probably younger still. But in any case, you would make your choice on where you put most of your effort based on who you're primarily after. Same thing with the networking groups and the networking services is I would look at them and say, so what is the membership based on the kind of clientele I'm after? Do they have people in the age group demographic I'm after? Do they have people in the psychographics I'm after? Things that people are passionate about and things that people love. That would be more how I would choose the group.
Yeah, that makes sense. Yep. So I've identified like who my ideal client is. I go to a lot of events, networking a lot, and now I'm very selective as to what events I attend and what relationships I build based on my ideal client.
Well, there's one more thing I might add to those networking groups, by the way. One of the biggest mistakes made in networking groups, whether it's the live version or even the virtual ones that are out there, is seeing these as a one-way street. I'm just here to get business from you. But instead, if you meet with all of these people and you say, so how can we work together to help each other?
Exactly.
Doing joint marketing with other merchants and other business people is a fabulous way to leverage a networking group.
If I might, I'd like to tag on to that because this is a great conversation here. Two quick things. Number one, the new networking is not about giving out business cards. It's about getting business cards, getting names and email addresses and building your list. Okay. The other thing is that it's about also finding people who have a problem. And their problem may be that they have this big trip and they don't know how to plan it and they're really nervous, or especially groups. We'll talk about groups in a minute because that's one of my other big points I want to talk about, how important it is. The only way you're going to sell groups is if you find out that they've got a problem. They've got a big celebration coming up. There's a big event. There's an anniversary celebration. There's an award ceremony. There's a big family reunion, and it has to be perfect. And you've got the solution. So rather than going into these networking events and selling, your mission is being the detective to find out who's got a problem that travel can solve.
Yeah, great point, Stuart. I really like that point because social can play in well to that because you're posting and solving people's problems on your social sites. And maybe they didn't know they had that problem. Maybe they didn't realize that they had to plan that celebration trip. But you're putting that bug in their ear and helping them understand what they need to do and then solving that problem for them.
We have a comment, sort of a comment question actually from Stephen Hicks that, and Stephen, I just favorited your comment. I hope you saw that. That I think really kind of fits in with this very same topic we're talking about here. His question was very specific about targeting and selling your value proposition to the new generation of millennials that are so online and do-it-yourself oriented. This is it fits so well with this, because the assumption is that because a millennial can pick up a cell phone or a smartphone or a computer or a tablet and book until the cows come home, the assumption is that it's all about do it yourself. But fascinating is that millennials have been proven now, that lots of studies on this, and ASTA even did one. Millennials are the most likely generation of all to pay a professional fee to a travel agency. But their reasons for paying that fee have nothing to do with the booking. It's not about that part. It's about advice, support, guidance, and the bling factor. When you think about it with millennials grew up in a world where there's always been technology. It's always been do it yourself. And so to them, a human is one of the most rare and valuable things of all, but you really have to focus on that. They won't use you just because you're going to book it for them. They'll use you because you're going to treat them like a princess or a prince. Totally different strategy than we may have thought about. That's how you appeal to millennials. And it fits right in with the very subject that we're talking about. Know who you're trying to take care of, know who you're trying to attract, and know what the problem is, as Stuart said. For millennials, the problem is not the booking. The problem is, I want to be treated like a luxury. I want you to be a luxury. I want you to be there for me, looking out for me, taking care of me. That's what they're looking for, and they will pay for it.
Indeed.
Yeah, exactly. And then when you're looking at them as a social level too, think about how you can understand your audience better. Use the tools that are out there. There's free tools like Facebook page insights and Twitter analytics and Pinterest analytics. These will all help you understand who your social audience is. And those people might be a little bit different than the folks that you meet at networking conferences. So give yourself a chance to study who your audience is, and then also study what posts resonate with those people. So if you, for example, look at your page insights, you'll be able to see that perhaps video resonates really well with your audience. So then your goal is to put out more video, because that's what's resonating with that audience.
Video. Can we talk video for a second? Hey, listen, everybody. Video is not the thing of tomorrow. It's not the thing of today. It's a thing of yesterday, especially millennials, everybody. If you guys want to reach these millennials who need help, who, as Mitch said, they don't mind outsourcing because they're too busy typing away with their thumbs. Video is the answer, and it's so simple to do, friends. Who here saw that little video that I made real quick? It was 60 seconds to give you instructions of how to use Blab. Well, rather than having for you to read it, it goes so much faster. Your clients would love to see you for 10 seconds when you're on that fam trip, exploring the ship, exploring the resort. Listen to me. You've all got one of these. It takes, well, how long, especially if you have free Wi-Fi, to shoot a quick video and say, wish you were here. I'm here on the brand new ship. I'm here in the room at my property. Wish you were here. Bye. Yeah. Easy.
Well, and then Stuart, you take that one step further and put your contact information as a last slide on there.
Yes.
People know how to get in touch with you. You post that to Facebook, you post it to Twitter, you post it to Instagram, you put it into your blog. There's so many different things that you can do with that video. So you might have taken 5 minutes to produce it or 25 minutes to produce it, but you've got lots of different ways that you can use it. It's really cool.
Yes, absolutely.
It is.
Yeah. Well, hey, and thanks so much to I didn't get your name from Pinnacle Trips. What was your name?
Frank.
Frank,
yep.
Thank you so much for popping in as our first video. We should probably see if anyone else would like to ask an on-camera question. If not,
thanks, guys.
Yeah, thank you so much. And if no one else has one, that's okay too. But
yeah. I'm seeing one from World Wine Travel. So World Wine Travel looks like a gentleman. Are you ready to be on air? We're going to put you live. And then I see that Lori Tedrick also had a question that she wrote in. So we'll go to World Wine Travel first, and then we'll go to Lori's question. So here we go. World Wine Travel, welcome.
Love that name, by the way. What a great name for an agency.
It's terrific. Yeah. It's a great twist. It's memorable. It's memorable.
It is.
I love it.
Yes, it is.
Someone asked if we would continue to address each other Brady Bunch style. I keep forgetting that. So, hey, Catherine.
Hey, Nolan.
Hi, Stuart. How are you?
Hi, this is Steve Arnold from World Wine Travel. Are you hearing me?
Hey, yes, we hear you.
Yeah.
Okay, great. So my question is really about sort of what we're doing here now. So much of my business is via emails and online. Have any of you actually employed doing video consulting with your clients? And if so, you know, how's that worked out, or is that adding value? I guess is my question.
Yes, I'll jump in quick, and then I think all of us will answer. Absolutely, I do. For me, in my business, I have Skype meetings with people all the time. That's why I'm able to do business coaching for people who aren't here. What a magnificent, phenomenal way. I forgot, what's your name again?
Steve.
Thank you, Steve. You look like a Steve, too. I should have remembered that. So, Steve, absolutely. It's wonderful. Skype is free. You could also use Facebook Instant Message, you know, whatever, FaceTime as well. But brilliant way to expand and meet with people and present, too, rather than just the telephone or email.
That's a great tip there, Stuart, because that can really come in handy for you. If you're looking to create your own video, I've just finished an infographic that I'm happy to send to everyone after this about how to strategize your video. So it looks at different things that you can take video of, how you can market those videos, what's popular on video right now. So those kinds of strategies are really important because you can weave that right in with your own marketing plan and your own social plan as well.
Oh, I'm so glad you mentioned that, because those are really good tips that you have. And Stephen Hicks, by the way, also reminded us of GoToMeeting or GoToWebinar, which I think as presenters, we use those all the time. But I do know travel agencies that are doing it too, specific to your question, where they're using things like GoToMeeting, GoToWebinar, FaceTime, Skype, but not just being available on them, but proactively recommending them to their clients. So somebody emails you or they click the link on your website. I'd like to get a quote on fill in the blank. Well, honestly, I know that that's the kind of email that travel agents get 100 times a day. But if all you do is send them a quote, you will not have done anything to differentiate yourself from the 1,000,001 apps and websites out there. So what if instead you fire it back and say, I'd be happy to give you some prices, give you some information, including a quote, but it'd be terrific if we could chat. We can do this by FaceTime, by Google Hangouts, by GoToMeeting, Skype, whatever sounds good to you, or even the good old-fashioned telephone. Proposing that human connection is something that we actually need to be proactive about now, because it's so easy to just get a price off a website or through an email quote. And if you can get the video, the FaceTime, the Google Hangout, the GoToWebinar, you have the ability to drive that human connection home in a way you wouldn't have any other way.
Yeah. And Nolan, the cool thing about that is then you could follow up with a quick little video that as an agent you created afterwards. Say, hey, it was great talking to you. Thanks for this information. Here's something else for you. And then elaborate on what it was that you were talking about. And then they have their own personal customized video from you. Wouldn't that be a cool way to follow up?
Oh, absolutely. And, you know, with the tools like GoToWebinar and so forth, you can record your consultation, send them that recording, and I just can't imagine how much value that would add to it. Gosh, we've had the questions are just streaming in so fast.
Yeah,
I can't even read them before we're on to the next ones. There's so many good ones. Daniela,
They're fantastic.
I'm so glad to see you're online here. Daniela was asking about do we recommend joining Toastmasters or something like that before posting a lot of videos so you get a little better at speaking, presenting, and so forth. And I think she has a good point that you want to feel confident when you do record or post a video, but at the same time, you want to be you. You don't want to sound scripted. You don't want to sound like it's too prepared, because I'll again say the value you bring to the table is that you're a real human, not just an overly scripted, automated response. So I just be careful with that one a little bit.
And to that point, Nolan and Catherine, is that don't overthink these videos. Just flip it on and say what's in your heart. Say what comes to mind, because I get caught up in that too. I have analysis paralysis. Oh my goodness, what word should I say? You know what? Just be you. You're not looking to be a celebrity. You're just looking to be you and not listen and not sell. These people need help. Think of yourself as you're helping them. So talk to them as if you're talking to your kids or to, well, maybe that's not a good idea. But talk to them like they need you in the worst way, and you need to be sincere. You need to be confident and just relax. And I know Mickey, she posted earlier, she said she's a little shy about being on video, and I get that. Of course, we can't convince you to do it. It's got to be something to do. But you know what? I think you're probably a lot better. All of you are a lot better looking than you think.
I don't know if you saw the comment from 45 Marketing, but 45 Marketing says they do videos weekly, and they're using something called WeVideo to create videos and slides. And there's a lot more of this going on out there than you might realize, and it's so simple. It used to be if you didn't have the fancy equipment, forget it. But today, I mean, obviously, we got fuzzy video going on here, and things start and stop and spit and sputter, but we're still having a good time. So we're more forgiving.
And I think that's what people want to see. They want to see the real you. Jacob from 45 Degrees Marketing, he and I have connected a number of times. And, we talked about how perfect a video has to be. Really doesn't have to be perfect. Like with the Marketing Monday videos that I do, I started off doing like 6 or 8 takes on them, and it was ridiculous. Now I do 1 take, and that's it. And if it turns out good, if not, well, you see the bumps and the warts and everything out there. So I think that's what people really need to see. There was a question from Next Stop TV that says, do you feel that live video has a place in travel video, or pre-produced video works better? Personally, I think that's a great question, and I would consider doing a mix of both of those. What do you guys have to say?
I try to do a video every time I go to a really cool place. Like I was speaking at an event in South Africa, as you know, 2 weeks ago, and I did 2 or 3 live videos from Table Mountain, from wherever it happened to be. And to be honest, those are the ones that got the most comments, that were the most well received. Were those live, not so good lighting, just the real thing, the real experience. And I think there's something to that. But there is also a time and a place to put some effort into it, to try to create something polished that looks really good too. I don't think it's one or the other. I think, like you said, Catherine, it's probably a mix of the two.
That's right. And to give an example of just a few months ago, I was down at a really nice resort down in Cancun, a little vacay with me and the wife. And I'm just sitting on that lounge chair saying, this is awesome. And not to my friends and family, but to my travel professionals who follow me on my Facebook. I took the phone here because it was free Wi-Fi, and I did a little 360, and I said, hey, everybody, if you haven't been at this property, and if you want me to check anything out for you, let me know. and I'm happy to help. I'm here. And that was just for you. You guys are my clients, okay? It's so easy to do for your clients too, whenever you're out and about. And if you're at a meeting, if you're at a training function, you see the great Catherine on stage, you see the great Nolan on stage. Take a quick video and say, hey, I'm here getting trained by the best in the business, friends. When I come home, I can't wait to share what I've learned. Easy stuff, unrehearsed, from the heart, believable, and it'll work.
I couldn't agree more. Well, do we have anyone else that's wanting to pop in?
Well, let me see. Steve, thank you so much for joining us. We appreciate it. And we're going to pop you out and see if there's anybody else who wants to come in. See ya.
All right.
Thank you.
Hey, so somebody asked if we think Google advertising is good, and I'll go around and let you guys answer too. But for my money, no. I think social media is the greatest gift to travel professionals ever. I don't think we should be paying for any advertising. Perhaps a Facebook boosted post if they approve the ad. But my goodness, friends, you build that list, you build that following. And circling back, I just want to throw this one thing out before everyone says, where do we go to meet people and to connect and try to find people we can help? When's the last time you had your own event? When's the last time you had the event? You invited people who want to hear what you've got to say. Guys?
Great point. I think social ads are phenomenal because of the targeting options. You mentioned, Stuart, Boost Post, and it's an okay opportunity, but there's way better opportunities than that because you can target within Facebook ads. You can target right down to not only zip code and if the person owns their house, but you can target what type of cuisine they like, if they like to drink wine or beer, if they're culinary aficionados, if they love to cycle or hike. You can target all of those really cool things and then build your ad to meet the needs of those people. So for example, if you're doing a wine and food tour to Europe, you're going to want to dig into those Facebook ad ideas and look at all the culinary things, look at all of the sightseeing opportunities there, look at all of the other possibilities to highly target people, and you'll find a wonderful asset there. And it's not going to cost you that much money. You can put a few dollars to it, test it out, do some split testing, see which graphic works better, see if a video works better with that ad, do a carousel ad where you get 3 or 4 pictures to put with that ad, and it can be a phenomenal resource for you.
Do you know, I might want to, go ahead, Catherine.
And the other thing, Stuart, I'm trying to look at you now. The other thing, Stuart, that you mentioned was getting out and inviting people to your own event. I think that is phenomenal. Think about teaming up with one of your suppliers and doing a hosted consumer night for them. And then you can advertise it socially. You can create a Facebook event for it. You could do a little pre-event blab about it and get people all jazzed up. So we could have a lot of fun with that. Takes a bit of work, you know, if any of all of us have probably hosted consumer evenings, I know I have, and takes a bit of work, but man, the payoff is huge. And now the opportunity with social makes it even more exciting. Nolan, did you have something to say?
Oh, sorry. I was thinking about what I was going to have for lunch. No, actually, I did have something to add to that. I know some. This is not to argue with Stuart, because actually I think we probably agree more than it might sound like. But I do know some agencies that are still leveraging Google AdWords to the max, and they're doing really, really well with it. But that's kind of the point: is it's not where or who you do your stuff with, whether it's Google or Facebook or some other source. It's all in the how and what do you do. I know people who've done amazingly well with paying for Google AdWords, and I know people who've wasted a stupid amount of money on Google AdWords. The same thing in Facebook. Just because it's Facebook does not mean it's going to work. It can work very, very well, but just being there is not the thing that'll do it. Same thing with Google. And Facebook allows you to target, as Catherine just said, in ways that are impossible on something like Google.
Right. And I think the answer there is targeting.
Yes.
And it's, correct me if I'm wrong. I mean, the successful people, Nolan, you see, and Catherine, who are spending money on Google AdWords or other things, are they just saying we've got great vacation deals and discounts here and there and generic, or are they being specific with something specific that's going to catch an eye, perhaps a niche?
Yes, absolutely. And, you know, it's interesting because when I first started playing around with Facebook personally, I thought, you're going to hate me saying this, Catherine, but my first reaction was, what a stupid waste of time.
I bet you're not the only one who thought that, Nolan.
I really did think that. And of course, that's before I discovered I could put pictures of my cat and my coffee and my dinner up. And then I thought, oh, no, this is a waste of time, but it's a fun waste of time. But anyway, back to the business side of things. As you know, because you and I have talked about this a little bit, but I've been on a mission to be able to get great visibility on Facebook without paying 1 penny to boost a post or pay for an ad. And we've been able to achieve that. You know, those images that we share on our Facebook page for travel agents to share with their own clients. One of the top one, okay, we have about 3,000 friends on our Facebook page. Not gigantic, but nothing to sneeze at. But there's one image in particular that got an exposure on Facebook. They call that the reach. It got an exposure of almost 50,000 people. Well, if every single one of our friends on Facebook liked it, that's only 3,000. The only reason it got to 50,000 is because it got shared over and over and over. People who shared it with someone else. They shared it, they shared it, they shared it. So here's the point. Whatever you do on Facebook or Twitter or LinkedIn or Instagram or any of those, think to yourself before you post that whatever it is. Think and ask yourself one very important question. Would anybody have any reason to share this? If it's not something that somebody would want to share, well, then the only people that'll see it will be your friends and your network. But you need to reach beyond that. And you can. Think about why people joined Facebook. Why are they on there? They ain't on there to see your ads. They're on there to have fun. They're on there to see cute kitten videos, puppy videos, pictures of your dinner, pictures of my lattes and my latte art. They're on there to have fun. So instead of fighting that, work with it and make your post fun and shareable wherever you might be posting them, on whatever network it might be.
Yeah. And from a business perspective in travel, we've got the perfect opportunity to do that, because whether we're having a latte in Istanbul or in Latvia, we have great places to post those photos of. And we also need to try and relate it back to a theme. You know, if you're trying to sell more group travel, for example, and you have a group cruise coming up, then you want to be able to target your Facebook post to what it is that you want to sell and inspire people to find out more and connect with you. Of course, we're always trying to link it back to our website as well. So providing that link back to your website will increase your SEO and your findability, which was the other thing that we've been talking about, Nolan. So it's all related, and the better plan that you have in place to implement that strategy, the better off you're going to be. Somebody asked a minute ago about how much they spend in advertising on Facebook. Nolan, you said you don't spend much at all, or if anything. I put $10 a week to that Marketing Monday post that I do, and I can reach anywhere from 1,500 to 2,700 people for $10, and I think that's a pretty good reach. But I'm highly targeting that reach as well. I'm specifying specifically who I want to reach. People in the travel profession, tour operators, travel agents. So it's a really dedicated market. And I think if you can do the same thing with targeting your reach and putting a couple dollars into it, maybe start off with $2 or $3 on a post and run it for a day, see how it works. Change something out, split test, and do the different ad the next day with one little change and see how that works. It'll give you a good idea of where your audience is and what they like so that you can just replicate that.
Yes.
We keep saying reach, and I'd like to rhyme it with niche, even though it's not a perfect rhyme. But my friends, I believe one of the most important things is to finally decide on, embrace, commit to your niche, because it will be so much easier to target, as Nolan and Catherine has said, to target your niche. You'll reach your niche so much easier because you're going to talk about something specific, your passion. Maybe it's something geographic, demographic, psychographic, whatever is your passion that's in your love circle, the people you want to help, the destinations where you want to send them. Put out those vibes. Stop being generic. Stop trying to please the world. You can't. Believe me, there's enough people. You may think it's a tiny niche. It's not. There's millions of people who need your help, who have the same passion you do. It will be so much easier to target your paid ads and or your social media targets and tags and videos, everything. And one other quick thing, we're talking video before. It doesn't have to be live video, friends. You could take a photo collection. You can make a slideshow. You could record it, put music to it, and you've got a little video.
Yeah, exactly. And that is so cool. There's great tools out there to do that. You can use Animoto. You could use Screencast-O-Matic, some Flipagram, some really cool tools to easily do that. You can make a Flipagram in about 5 minutes. So it's very, very easy.
What I love is everyone is typing stuff in. So folks, as you type and ask, look at what everybody else is saying, because what I see is some best practices sharing. We're trying to type in too, but make sure you check. There's good stuff going on the boards there.
Yeah. And speaking of the boards, there was a question a long time ago from Lori Tedrick that we meant to get to. And Lori asked, if you're starting out and had to pick 3 social media platforms, what would they be? So why don't we each chime in and see what we each think? Of course, I'm all over Facebook because the majority of your typical audience is going to be on Facebook. But before you look any further, I would survey your clients to see where they are in social media, to see what they're using and what they find interesting. And then target those other platforms. But before you extend your reach too far socially, figure out what it is that you like socially and that you can easily manage yourself or by hiring it out. So think about where your time and talent is and your expertise and where your clients are. Anybody else have anything?
Agreed. Yeah. Enter their conversation. Go where they hang out.
Yes.
Talk to them the way they talk amongst each other. I've been telling travel professionals for a while now, give out your darn cell phone number and say, text me to your clients. Now, I'll give you my cell phone number right now if you want. I'll say, go ahead, text me whenever you want. I get maybe 1 or 2. That's it. But the fact that you're giving, and I know that's maybe not social media, but that's the way we're communicating these days, especially millennials. My mother texts versus phone calls. So do what they're doing, if they have a quick question, they may not want to call you. They don't want to get involved in a whole big sales pitch presentation. Offer the texting thing. That would be just one quick thing I just want to shoot out. Nolan?
Partially I'm going to mirror what Catherine said, but with just a couple of little twists. What are the top 3 social sources I would recommend? Number 1 has to be Facebook in travel because of the demographics. The most active group of users on Facebook is women over 55. And for generations now, that is the sweet spot of travel marketing. They're the ones making most of the high dollar travel decisions. But I'll also add to that, Pinterest, because Pinterest is over 80% female 80% women who are looking at Pinterest. But then then I'm going to bring one in that maybe people aren't thinking about so much when it comes to travel, and that is LinkedIn. And let me make a connection that might surprise you here. LinkedIn, of course, is way more corporate, all stuffed shirt, people talking about jobs and stuff. But did you know that there are these chat rooms, discussion groups in LinkedIn? And did you know one of the most active chat rooms and discussion groups on LinkedIn has nothing to do with business? It is fine wine and dining. That is one of the most active discussion groups on LinkedIn. And if you sell culinary travel or fancy luxury travel, man, oh man, you might want to join those discussions.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And I'll join in.
And I'll add to that comment, Nolan, that you made about Pinterest. And if you're a destination wedding specialist or a honeymoon specialist, Pinterest is the place for you. Because their demographic, as you said, is 80% women. And a lot of them are in that marriageable age, whatever that age is, 25 to 34. And they're all over it for wedding planning, dress planning, everything like that. And if you're there with boards that help them not only with their travel plans, but with other things like choosing gifts for your bridesmaids or choosing music or wedding invitations, be their resource for them, be that trusted advisor, be that person they look to, as Stuart said earlier, to solve some problems for them. And they're going to love the boards that you create, not only on planning their honeymoon, but also on the other things that are out there. And somebody also asked about Periscope. I saw that rolling through the frame here. And again, depending on your niche market, Periscope can be an awesome opportunity for you to do some live video streaming. So how you might use that, say you're at a wedding show, for example, and you might get onto Periscope and interview somebody else that's at that wedding show, be it another bride about what they're liking about the show, be it one of the suppliers about the top new things that they're promoting for wedding and wedding planners. So Periscope as a live video thing is very cool.
Can't be recorded, but it is super cool. Hey, you know what? We're I don't know what you want to do. We are at the top of the hour. Should we go around the room here, do a recap? But I want to say I am so grateful. We have a tremendous turnout and great engagement. I think this Blab test flight has been a success.
Woohoo! It has.
Love it.
Well,
I
yeah.
am so thrilled with this as well. It's great to see the conversations, and thank you for those Steve and Frank who were brave enough to get on video. I know next time there'll be more of you because it's really fun.
Well, why don't we each go around and give sort of a closing comment to send these wonderful people off on a fabulous weekend, and as a way of thanking them. I'll give you my 3 points, then we'll just go around the screen. How's that sound?
Cool.
Well, if there's anything that I would hope all of you would do in 2016, it's really these 3 things. Number 1, I'll say as I started, master the art of consulting and understand people are not calling you for a price quote, even though that's what they ask for. If all they wanted was the cheapest price, they would have hit the buy button already somewhere else. Number 2, start charging for what you do. Make the leap to fees for everything. The way you compete with the internet is not by doing what it does, but by doing what it is incapable of doing. And that is spending quality time with people, and time is money. You'll be perceived as more professional when you start charging fees. And finally, shift your marketing to be less about products, destinations, and things that every supplier is already promoting, and start putting the focus on your humanity. You're the one thing not available somewhere else. Up to you, Catherine. Up to you, Catherine. You're
okay. Thank you, Nolan. And I'm going to play off of Nolan's last comment about your humanity, and make sure that that shines in your own social posts, because people are there to see you and understand what you can do to help them. So to make your social posts shine, video is a huge opportunity to do that. as are any kind of graphics that you can create and photos that you can put up there. Then, taking that one step further, think about your strategy and how you're going to market not only yourself, but solve problems for people. And it's by putting out great content, relevant things that are shareable, likable, and that people are going to want to comment on. And that there's a strategy for you in place, that you're putting out content that's relevant at that specific moment for that specific audience and in the platform that they're in. So think about those things as you're laying out your strategy for 2016, and please give me a call if you've got any help, and if you need any help in pulling that together or pulling it off technically or in any other way. I'd be happy to hear from you. And now over to Stuart.
Thank you, Catherine. All right, here we go. 3 things to leave you with, folks and friends. Number 1, practice who am I marketing, to catch a phrase from Guy Kawasaki in 2016. Forget about your brand name, forget about fancy logos. Tell the world who you are, what you're about, because they're buying you. They can buy that same product any place. Who am I marketing? Number 2, we didn't even get to talk about this. Master the group business model. Consumers can't do it. Suppliers do a one-dimensional experience. Online travel agencies, forget about it. Master the group business models. You will maximize your product, your profits, and grow your business exponentially. And finally, there's only 3 things you're good for, travel professionals. 3 things. Remember this. Number 1, you decrease stress and risk. You decrease stress and risk. Number 2, you add value and convenience. Add value and convenience. And finally, number 3, you transform lives. Make sure you clearly achieve all 3 points, and you will be resoundingly successful in 2016.
Yes, I believe.
Yay! Thank you. Well, this has been wonderful. Thank you all for joining in. And Stuart and Nolan, thank you for your time and expertise and great sense of humor. It's been tons of fun. I see all kinds of comments over there. Great advice. They want to do this again. So what do you guys think? Are you up for it?
Sure.
Yeah, of course, of course.
All right. Cool. Cool. Well, we are recording this, so in a few minutes they're going to send me the recorded version, and I am happy to share that with you, and enjoy the rest of your day.
Thanks, guys. Take care,
Thanks,
everyone.
everybody.
Thank
Bye.
you.
Bye.
Happy
Bye.
Saturday.